What's up, YouTube? I'm over here. I'm here with my friend D.
Yo.
And
what it is.
How do you feel, baby?
I feel amazing.
Yeah? You ready to climb this mountain?
Yeah, we about to get after it, though.
Let me tell you something. This guy's a one... Absolutely, brother. This guy's a 1%er. He said he was going to show up at a certain time. He showed up. No bullshit. I love it. Let's go get some.
Let's get it going.
All right.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Woo! So there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I finally got to the top here with my buddy D. And how do you feel, brother?
I feel amazing.
Is there something about this environment? Look at those Rhodesians.
The air, the Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Man, we got people working out, beautiful women everywhere. I think we're in heaven, buddy. I really think we are.
Well, I'll tell you, this is normal for me, as you subscribers, as you know, watching my channel. But you know, as I always say, one of my principles in my life is plan your pleasure, because pain plans itself. There is a country out there, there is a place out there, there's a magical place out there that you need to find for you. You know, Medellin, Colombia is what's for me, but your place may be Jerusalem, Israel. Your place may be, you know, Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. So, you know, you figure out what works for you. Zanzibar is a great place, right off the coast of Tanzania. And plan your pleasure, because pain plans itself. And remember, as always, I want to give a shout out to God, Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, who gives me the ability and strength to build wealth and be who I am. Because without him, I am nothing. So here it is. With God, I can do it. He lives within me, and I live within him, and we're doing this together. So here I am, YouTube, here with my friend Bryce, and we just got done climbing Las Tres Cruces. How do you feel right now, man?
I feel amazing, man.
Yeah?
On top of the world, literally.
You ran up. How was your climb? Did you run it up or something? Or?
Yeah, to be honest, it was like a walk, jog type of thing. This is like really a major hill, so you gotta pace yourself. But I got some good cardio out of it.
And there's like a good energy here too, as well.
Yeah.
So describe how that feels.
It's good, man. It's like, it's effervescent. Like, everybody here is like really in a positive place. You got hundreds of beautiful women. Like, the ratio is pretty great, I must admit. And everybody out here is like really just focused on the grind. Like, yeah, everybody's flexing too a little bit, but you know, it's mostly about getting it in, you know, building up that discipline.
So what he's talking about is the ratio of guys to girls.
Yeah.
There's a lot more women there are than men. So as young men and young coming up men of value, which we are, we're spoiled for choice.
Indeed, indeed.
So that's one of the awesome things about being a man of value. So along those lines, self-improvement is a big thing. You know, on my channel, it's motivation and travel channel. So my friend Bryce experienced something very, very powerful, which I'm going to be doing at some point next year, and he's going to talk about it. So tell me about what you did most recently, and I'm going to go ahead and let you go right behind. Go ahead.
Yeah, in a nutshell, what I did was I took a 2-day ayahuasca retreat. I did it at La Ceiba Healing Center. I'm not too far from here in Girardota. And so my journey there was pretty awesome. To give you some context, I've spent about the last 3 to 4 years doing software sales over in the United States. And most recently, you know, I kind of had like a turning point in my life where I lost someone very near and dear to me, my grandmother. And, you know, in the midst of that, you know, I was really, you know, trying to, you know, rationalize and really understand all of the emotions that I was feeling, a lot of the, you know, and how that, you know, played into the context of big decisions I'm trying to make in my personal development and in my career. So I figured the best way for me to explore that and to explore, you know, some of the past experiences, work through some of the traumas and emotional baggage that I had, was to actually go on a transcendental experience, so to speak. And I felt like from my research, ayahuasca was the best medium to do that. So I signed up. It was about 80,000 mil pesos, very, you know, inexpensive. You go up to Girardota. It's in the middle of the mountains.
Quick question. Before you go into that, tell the people what is I mean, doesn't have to be in detail. What is ayahuasca?
Yeah. So I'm not a doctor, but ayahuasca, in very simple terms, is a medicinal herb. It's found in the Amazon. It's native to the Amazon, from what I understand. And basically, you have what's called a taita, which is like basically a shaman. They're experts in turning that herb into a basically like kind of this warm brown liquid, for like a better term, and they turn it into like this, basically like a potion or an ether that you drink. And as a result of internalizing it and, you know, letting that energy flow through you, you're able to basically go to different dimensions of experience and actually transcend your physical body. So whenever you see in the movies, like maybe Doctor Strange, if you've seen it, where he's like, open your mind and you're like traveling to different dimensions and stuff, like that's basically what ayahuasca is doing for you.
In a nutshell, ayahuasca is an herb that you take. So you signed up for it. You go over there. You spent your $80,000. Now, tell us about the trip. How long was it?
Yeah. So the most important context I should give is that everybody's going to have a different experience when you take ayahuasca.
Okay.
Most important thing for you to understand is that ayahuasca is not a recreational drug by any means. It really is like a medicinal herb. And if you go in there with the intention of just doing it just to, you know, fuck around and like have a good time, like you're in for a treat. Not in a good way.
And so it's not to get high.
Exactly.
Okay.
You should go in there with the clear intent of why you're taking it and what you want to explore within yourself, within your other dimensions, and that's going to give you the best trip. For some people, they have like that transcendental, you know, Doctor Strange, out of this world experience on the very first shot. Others, like myself, you might have like emotional baggage or just negative energy in your body, in your mind, in your soul, and you need to cleanse all of that out before you can start having visions and seeing, you know, some of the revelations. For me, my first night, as I recall, I took that first one. Well, before I took that first shot, I took this cleansing herb called rape. Rape is basically pure tobacco. And so what'll happen is the shaman, he'll take a little pipe, he'll pump a bunch of tobacco into it, take it to your left nostril, shoots pure tobacco directly up your nostril, and it just burns like all hell. And then you start to get a headache, start coughing, wheezing, whatever. And then he slowly gets it to your other nostril, shoots pure tobacco up both nostrils, basically. So it's cleaning out your sinuses. If it's your first time, it will take you aback. Like, I was barely able to stand straight. People were throwing up. You start spitting up all this phlegm, any bad stuff you got in you. And so after I took that, I was basically just trying to gain my balance and equilibrium for about 15 minutes.
And this is tobacco, correct?
This is pure tobacco.
Got it. Okay.
They're shooting that up, but it's good for you because it's cleansing you out, trying to help you have a better experience.
Okay.
Once I recovered from that, I get up 15 minutes later and I see that people are lining up. At the place, they'll call your name, and then you go ahead and get in line. And then once they call your name, you step up to the altar. You can take your time to, you know, say whatever prayer or say whatever, you know, kind of, you know, good words that you want to do to energize your trip. And you take the shot when you're ready. And then
Did you say a prayer?
I did. Okay. I kind of just made a request. I was like, I really want to be able to connect with my grandmother.
Okay.
So I basically asked for, you know, some guidance so that I could connect with her and have like some type of insight from that. So I took the shot, and long story short, for the first night, like literally 2 minutes later, because I was still messed up from the rape, I just started puking.
The rape was the tobacco, went up your nose. Did you go up both nostrils or one?
Both nostrils.
Both nostrils,
yeah,
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're in for a treat on that one. So, long story short, first night was kind of unremarkable, really. Like, I just started puking, and like 2 minutes later, I couldn't keep it down.
Okay.
And I take that as I need to cleanse that energy out, like I said. So, you know, then I, you know, spend the next, you know, mind you, this is happening at like 1 o'clock in the morning. There's other people that are more experienced with it. They're tripping out. There were people at the back of the complex, like yelling at the top of their lungs like somebody was killing them.
Wow.
Or something. Yeah, like grown men just like screaming at the top of their lungs. There were people like hallucinating and like crawling around like they were like a different animal. Some were acting like wolves. Some were slithering around like snakes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's some crazy shit, man.
And that didn't bother you because you were going through your own thing.
Right.
Okay.
And they tell you up front, like, you have to go in that mindset of like no judgment, because you're going to like, everybody's going through something different in life, and that's what you're here to sort out.
Now, this is not a religious thing, is that correct? Like, just make that clear. Okay.
No, it's
All
not
right.
associated with any particular religion.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what's happening in a nutshell. Everybody's basically, you're in a group with 50 to 100 other people. They're all tripping out, and they're all going through their own crazy experience. You can learn, even if you're going through your own shit, you can learn through observing what they're going through.
Wow.
But the key is don't interfere. You know, so that's another thing that they kind of instill in you there. Like, don't interfere, but if you
Don't try to help them. Don't try to help them. Don't get involved.
Right,
Just
like-
let the people there do their thing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'll get more into like the helping part on this second part, like in the end of it. So that was the first night. I woke up sometime. I passed out from all the intensity of it at about 2 a.m. Yeah. So
Don't try to help anybody.
yeah. And so, like, kind of summarize. On the second day, this is where I started having the real experiences and insights. That night, I skipped the rape, which is key, because the rape, I'm telling you, is no joke. If you're not ready for it, it will make you off your equilibrium. So at your disposal if you want to take it or not. I chose to skip it the second night, which I think allowed me to just absorb the ayahuasca a lot more cleanly. And so this time I took my first shot of ayahuasca, and I put myself on a timer. I said I need to absorb it for at least 30 minutes to an hour. I got through about an hour 15 minutes. I ingested it. I wasn't feeling nauseous. So I felt comfortable going up to the altar again, took my second shot. After I took my second shot.
The same night, you're taking 2 shots.
2 shots.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
After I took my second shot, I went back to my little resting area. Everybody has like their own little safe spot. I sit there and I just kind of like meditate for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then it's crazy. You start to feel it in the pit of your stomach. For me.
Right.
And then it's almost like a snake. Like, it just sneaks up your intestines or whatever. And then out of nowhere, I just puke up my guts, like right there.
Wow.
But after I, puke everything up, immediately as my eyes are closed, I start seeing like all of these transcendental images, like all these like weird polygonal shapes and just far out stuff. I basically start hallucinating, but during the hallucinations, it's hard to explain. I'm seeing like symbols and signals that only I can understand or that I could explain. And so it basically, in a nutshell, started taking me through random past incidents that had happened in my life. Also let me kind of revisit what I had experienced with my grandmother. And by actually going through all of that, I was able to see very clearly and work through like all of the baggage and all of the confusion I had in my head about how I should feel emotionally about it. And that gave me some closure on a lot of like past incidents I didn't even know I was holding in. Yeah, so to summarize, guys, what that whole experience allowed me to do was basically work through emotional, spiritual baggage, if you will, that I didn't even realize was still resting in my body, in my mind, in my soul. And it just gave me a lot of clarity, and like, it was like a burden off my shoulders. Like, I haven't felt this confident and happy and just at peace in a long time. And it's directly as a result of that experience. One thing I wanted to preface with that as well, important detail, is I did fast for about 2, almost 3 days before that. Again, it's just clean out your body, clean out your system. The less negative energy that's in the way, the quicker you can have your experience. But I would highly recommend you go through it. Don't be afraid of all the kind of negative aspects of it. That's part of the journey. It's definitely worth it.
Well, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he has convinced me to actually go on the next level. It's good because, you know, in the Bible it says iron sharpens iron, okay? And we talk about people that come into your life that going to sharpen you, become a sharper person, and become the better version of yourself. And so I'm definitely going to be doing it. I do want to say that if you were having someone that's maybe from a year ago, maybe on the fence of taking it, what would you say to that person that's maybe on the fence and just needs, what's the incentive to do it, to really just go ahead and just do it? Let me ask, what would you say to that person? That's my first question. My second question is this, regarding your experience. Was there any situation where people you said there were some people that were talking like snakes. Sure. Was everybody able to recover? Was anybody have to go to hospital? Were there any negative consequences out of that?
Yeah. So to
maybe you
clarify, again, everybody has their own experience. Not everybody was out here walking like a snake or whatever. No, nobody had to go to the hospital. Nobody was in like any serious danger. That's why you have the shaman there and you're in a safe community so that people can take care of you, and it's very organized. They're gonna make sure you're safe. You're in a safe environment the whole time. Understand that. With La Ceiba, I can speak. For somebody who's, you know, it's their first time and you're on the fence about it, I put it like this. 9 out of 10 people I meet, if I ask them, are you a real one? Do you value the truth? Do you value being honest? They will say, yeah, right? My only question is, what are you afraid of? It's probably the truth about yourself. You're gonna find the truth about yourself when you go through that ayahuasca trip. I promise you that.
Brother, stand up. Thank you for the interview.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you for the interview. Thank you for the time, and thank you for the friendship.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for watching, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Good job.